Or it could be a complete conspiracy between employers of the world to come together, right? Just to mind people so they don't quit.
Wow. How soon is too soon to quit my job? This is your daily Ketchup.
One day.
If you're not happy, just quit.
Asia One recently put out an article that is titled "Why It's Okay to Quit Your Job Only After a Couple of Months." It talks about this girl whose student name is Nicole. There was like mismatched expectations between like what she was told during the job interview, what her job scope was going to be, versus the actuality of it. So she had been told that she was to help to execute the company's vision, but in reality she was expected to do both the strategizing and the execution.
Right.
Yeah, and then her boss wasn't very helpful. But at that point, right, when she realized it was like 2 weeks in only, and then she felt like, oh shit, but I'm already in the job. I cannot quit because this is going to reflect so poorly on my resume.
Actually, it won't be, because if you're there for 2 weeks, just don't put it there and just say you took an extended break.
That's quite a smart tip.
Thank you.
But yeah, so in the
Someone told me.
end, like she tried to stick it out, but in the end, she still quit after 2 months. Yeah. But what do you think? Do you think is something that will reflect badly?
No way, I don't think so. I think it's very easy to cover up. Just say that you had a family emergency or you took a break, take care of your mom, your grandmother.
Went for gap year, I started work straight away after uni. I didn't really have that break.
Someone was saying whenever you start a new job, you have 4 grandparents again.
So that you can take leave.
Okay, but lying to your employer aside, no, cause I do hear this like from friends and other people also, right? That they struggle with this. They like, I joined already. It's not gonna look good on my resume. I have to stay for at least a year. Anything less than that, right? Wow, cannot. But then I question it. Like, just be honest with your whoever you're interviewing for next lah. Like, if it didn't work out, it's more sensible, and I'll respect you more if you know when to step away, when to walk away from something that you know is not a good fit.
Correct.
But then in the first place, like, or at least maybe you don't even reach the actual company stage. At recruiter stage, right, they might just flag you as like, this person is like a flight risk. Then they don't even push you on to the next round.
It could totally be possible. Or it could be a complete conspiracy between employers of the world to come together, right? Just to mind people so they don't quit.
Wow. That sounds kind
Well,
of...
not ending the group chat yet. I don't know, I'm not leaking anything.
No, I feel like the 1 year thing was like maybe 3 years ago. I think that was important. Because I mean, before this, when we look at our parents' generation, they stayed for, my dad stayed in his like job for like 15 years.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So like, I feel like eventually that number shrank as to like what does a decent amount of time in a company. And then now, ever since the Great Resignation and people leaving and realizing that they don't want to waste their time already, they want to do what they love, I feel like it's easier to justify now that, hey look, I left after 2 months. It was during our probation period. Probation period is for them to see I'm a good fit, but also for me to see whether they're a good fit for me. Just wasn't a great fit.
Yeah, it's so interesting that there is now that opposite. Like, it's not just whether they want to accept me, but whether I want to accept the company.
Yeah. Employees seem to have a bit more power now.
Yeah, so Dan is right, because they also interviewed this HR director that said that it's really down to the fact that millennials don't just want to put food on the table anymore. They want to feel fulfilled. But it's also interesting because like we talk about how millennials are the first generation that are going to be poorer than the previous, right?
Not gonna.
That are
already.
But it's also because of that they are able to, how to say, it's because of the parents' provision and all that, right, that they are not as afraid to be looking for their ideal careers instead.
To prioritize different ones in your career, I guess. Okay.
There was this LinkedIn survey.
Which means it's
also.
not sustainable lah. The millennials' children better get their shit together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we're going to retire damn old.
Or the AIs just need to hurry up so that we all just don't need to work anymore.
And wipe us out. Huh? Oh no, sorry.
And serve us.
Yes.
We're interrupting this broadcast with a special announcement. We are hiring!
Let's go.
If you look down below, we have a link that will bring you to all the positions that you can help us fill. We would love to have you. Like, share, subscribe this video. Thank you. That's not the news.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fake conversation.
Back to the episode. There was also a LinkedIn survey that showed that promotions, pay raises, and 6-figure salaries no longer factor high on how Singaporeans define success in the office. And
really, man?
So over 70% of them cited happiness, and then this article bracket, which cannot be quantified by KPIs, and health as the barometer for work success.
Depends where they ran these surveys.
No, then maybe money gives them happiness. Then it's just packaging.
but the thing is that people who are on LinkedIn are looking mostly for jobs. And so then wherever they ran this survey lah.
It's true. I want to say that the LinkedIn and Feng retrenchment and all that stuff is making it very appealing. Everybody feel like they can get a job. Like very easy to get a job. Which is not as easy as, like, I have friends that had that mindset. Then now exploring property, that kind of stuff, you know?
I find it very strange, especially for like when it's kind of like your first, second job kind of thing, right? And the pursuit of happiness and that balance, right? Not that it's a bad thing to strive for, but you need to go into a job or start a career kind of like already knowing what kind of objectives or goals you want to achieve, or where you're trying to get with what you're doing and getting better. But if you're just pursuing happiness and trying to make that the priority in your job, right, then that can look like a lot of things, but they might not guarantee long-term happiness. So if like you join a company that has like, hey, wow, we got foosball table, we got all this other shit, it's gonna be so fun, you know, you're gonna be happy doing the job that you do. But then they take these little things, these very superficial things, and then they equate that to happiness.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to the skills and the job, right, they are not actually growing. Yeah, which then becomes a long-term problem, because the only other thing that they can fall back on, right, or one of the main reasons why you have a job in the first place is for money, But your money is not going to increase if you don't grow also as in your work. Yeah, so then I feel like this becomes a very big problem.
I think it's not just objectives in like finding a workplace, right, but also like what kind of life you want to live, because there are people who are going, at the end of the day there's always trade-offs. So like if you're going to work super long hours but you're going to make a lot of money out of it, I think it's knowing that, okay, I'm prepared to slog up for the next, say, 15 years, 20 years. Then after that I'm going to be making 30k a month and I'll be happy after that, but I have to like slog up for that 15 years. Or I'm going to be the kind of person that I'm just happy earning enough to pay for my expenses, but I'm going to live a super happy life, chill life, but then you're going to be working for longer lor. And I think people, when they first start their job, need to spend the first maybe 3 years to figure out what kind of life they want to have and then go for that.
But do you feel like, because currently, right, the idea of like delayed gratification is so foreign because everything moves so fast? I order something straight away, it comes same day delivery or whatever, right? Then I want that instant happiness such that like I'm just not willing to work my whole life or like work for a good 10 years before I can start enjoying myself.
But I feel like I've shared this example before where this guy was talking about how a child maybe eats candy every day and he gets that little doses of happiness, but then 6 months in he goes to see the dentist and then all his teeth decayed, and then that brings a large amount of unhappiness and then the other way around, you can see somebody that's slogging every day doing a job that maybe they're not super happy with, but then at 40 they retire and then they can enjoy the fruits of that labor. So back to your point, right? It's how do you then navigate that, Like, what is your goal? Yeah.
Like just now we were kind of talking about how the balance has kind of shifted from power to the employers to balance, or even leaning towards employees now, right? So the article also says that any number of reasons might propel a person out of the door, but a bad boss ranks high on this list, especially if from early on the person doesn't seem open to feedback or is unwilling to change. Was
So why you look at me immediately?
odd for no, as in like it was. I just looked up. You don't need to be self-conscious, which was so odd to read, because this description, right, you will generally read about an employee.
Yeah.
But then seeing it written right after saying that there was a bad boss, it's so odd. It's like now I'm rating my boss in a sense.
The tables have turned.
Random thought. Do you think it's because right now, right, there's a huge amount more bosses than in the past, because it's so much easier to start a business, and then side hustles blow up and become businesses, such that bosses are not that qualified? Because in the past, you look at what are the bosses, right? Those are people that come from elite families, they went to good school, then funding
MBAs.
is not easy to get, so you must be a hell of a person to get funding to start something.
There was a point in time where MBA, you had to have an MBA
like,
to be a CEO.
Yeah, we just decide start company. This guy, boom, sell alcohol.
Boom, this guy, media.
Boom, just
No, but that makes sense lah. I mean, like we talked about before about like the sagas of like, you know, different media, like YouTube media companies and things like that. It's also because they literally maybe their first job, they've never really ran.
My point is, it could also be a trend of just lousier bosses of a lot.
Right.
Yeah, like the quality of employees may go down on this metric, right? Whether people stay, whether people want to work hard. The quality of bosses probably went down as well.
But I think what's interesting is that if you take a matrix of 4, right, and you had bad boss, good job, bad job, right, people would stay in a bad job with a good boss, but would leave if it's a good job but bad boss.
What makes a good? What's like under this good job?
Like
The money,
like the money to work time ratio is decent.
Yeah.
Work hours.
That's why I was like wondering also, like, why is it so important to have a good boss? Like, because there are other things that affect it, like what you mentioned, like under good job, right? That's probably like the work culture,
Growth,
right? Like how much
opportunity.
balance
but
you have.
your good boss affects your work culture, right? So it's not just me. So for example, yeah. So if you and him cannot work properly, I'm sure that's fucking crazy for you, right?
Right. You got something to say, yeah. Yeah. But there's also quite an interesting statistic that this online like career platform called The Muse, they did this research that showed that 72% of young workers say that they've regretted a new job after starting. I mean, two questions, right? Like one, how do you even evaluate a job properly before you start? Because before you try anything, you don't know, ma. And then secondly, if right after I try, I hate it, then how? Like when do I know
Maybe you hate
when?
the fact that it's a job.
When do I know when it's time to quit?
No, but do they hate it relative to their previous job or they just hate it in general? Because like some people hate their current job and then go out there and realize, shit, I had it.
Like, is it their first job? You know what I mean?
No, I don't think it's first job.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
They did mention this also because like they said the grass is always greener on social media.
Right.
Nice.
True.
Yeah.
I remember like during my first internship attachment in poly, right? My first week there, like where I have to wake up, commute, like want something decent. Because I overdress like, first few days you overdress a bit, right? So like, wear shirt, then the poly make you wear your suit and tie.
Wow.
At least for first day, for your boss to tell you no need. Yeah, so then I did that for 1 week. Then I realized, oh my god, I got 50 years of this
Yeah.
Wow, that really scared me. That really scared me. Like my internship bosses were damn solid. We're still friends now. Like I go to their house and makan, and I know all the kids and stuff. They were good. The job was relatively fun also. We did medical conferences. Walao, but when internship end, I so fucking happy. Like I look at them and I'm like I love y'all. I hope we keep in touch. But when I went down the staircase of the second floor shop house, right, I feel like I'm like, you go out and Enfield, then they will.
Yeah. Wow.
I the staircase, then I bang the door, I get out. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go back to school. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I felt that way about my first internship also because it was a very traditional company. My boss really took care of me and I really liked him, right? But it really felt like damn
Especially
sad.
your media monitoring.
No, this wasn't my PR job. But like really like so entire night I was holding a briefcase also. I really looked like my like.
But inside got 2 pencils.
Then your clothes also don't fit properly because you just
A bit
first
big
time
also,
learn how to
yeah,
dress
yeah.
formal,
You
right?
outgrow this, I'm gonna buy a bigger size.
You gotta go G2000 and all.
Then the hair also not cut clean or like.
Exactly that. Then I just went like, oh my god. I remember sitting in the toilet and I was just like, fuck. I think rabak. Like before going to startup, then you can wear whatever you want. Everyone's damn chill and all your age, right? Everyone was like 20 years older than me, and I was like, I don't think I can do this.
But can you imagine, like, for guys, right, at least y'all can wear, like, button down
Pretty
shirt,
standard,
you buy,
even.
like, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, Diana, right, every
need 10,
2 weeks, right,
3.
she tell me she need to go shopping to buy work clothes, shopping to buy work clothes. Then I said, we just went shopping. Then she just need new combinations, like,
But it's like
Difficult.
what kind, like blouse and pencil skirt kind of like, or
varied lor. So she buy dress or she buy, like,
True. Okay, that explains a lot of things actually.
Very
Have you
kind.
introduced her to the concept of minimalism though?
bro, I every day wear Arism, man. I have the whole Arism collection that I just cycle through.
It's a very big collection though.
yeah, that's true.
They're running a sale, it ends today. Oh, okay. By the time this episode goes out, it's end. But I
That
hope
means
you
when I
got,
bought everything
I
already.
hope you got in the sale. But yeah, so the second question that I have was that, like, when do you know when it's appropriate to quit, or is it just like I'm quitting ahead of time? Because when there's no challenge, when you don't feel out of your depth, you are not growing, what? So then how do I know it's just a case of that instead of, wow, this is really not good for me and I need to get out, bounce?
I feel like
Why did you all quit your last jobs?
Oh, great question.
So why I left
No, I think there's a slight difference here first because these are all like they try out a new job for like a few months kind versus like my previous one is like I do it for like 4 years already, you know. But like just to touch on this a little bit more first, it's like I'm not sure whether we are hearing entitlement. Like, is it
Right.
entitlement? Like, first of all, you come into a new space, maybe it's your first job. How the you know what's a good boss and bad boss?
Yeah.
How do you know what's good for you, what's bad for you, right?
Like, are you even good at one thing yet? If you're not good at one thing, right, why are you trying to grade everybody?
Yeah. It's very strange to me that like they have. I mean, I'm hoping that that's not the case, and there's really like there's a criteria, and they understand that this is
Like
really
my first job, I was
signs
so
of a bad boss.
nervous. I was scared whether my boss will like me, my colleagues will like me or not.
Yeah, you purposely stay back after like 7, 8. Make sure you're seen staying back late. That you're ready to.
No,
grind.
not just that though. Like I want to be prepared to like be able to run the business there. Like, you know what I mean? As your first job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Chris has given me like quite good advice on this before, right? I cannot remember what's the exact thing he said to me, but something along the lines of like, you don't get to hate something unless you are good at it. Because right, it just means that you hate it because you are shit at it lah, and not because like actually can do it, but I just realized that this is not something that I like to do lor. Yeah, so there's that big difference which I think probably like not many people, at least first jobbers, they realize.
But their job is not to be the boss though. Their job is not to manage.
But their job is to do their job, what?
Like, to do their job lah.
Yeah.
But then you being able to do your job and you having a bad manager or boss is two different things mah.
It's true.
Yeah.
All of our first job was startups.
Which is why I guess we are very primed in like wearing many hats, figuring things out for ourselves, like not having enough information or guidance, but just coming back with the solutions to your boss,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but I did see this TikTok recently about a girl who's commenting on how some companies use the whole startup culture as an excuse for not improving their systems. Yeah, not having proper systems in place to facilitate for their employees and all this kind of thing, right? Which I thought was like, okay, like
Fair enough.
Yeah, it is fair lah. So you need to evaluate, because some is really bopian, it's a startup, and these are the steps that they just need to go through before they get to that level, and they just cannot provide for. But then there are also those that is just f it lah with startup culture, then this is the way it is all.
Yeah.
And then that's unhealthy. But you need to be able to identify why.
I saw a very recent TikTok about a young girl that says she will never join a startup again. Yeah, she will forever go to MNC because of the lack of structure, lack of everything. And I remember in my first job when my boss gave me like a task, like to what you mentioned, right? She thought she was gonna execute a vision, but she needs to also come out with a vision, right? Maybe mine not so drastic, but because the first company I joined, I also had to carve out a department. I had to train a team from scratch. I was like, oh my god, my boss trusts me so much.
Yeah.
But did you know that's what you were getting into?
I had no expectations. Like, I just really wanted to be liked. You know, I just really wanted to not lose my job. I didn't want my boss to hate me. I wanted to have friends in my colleagues, you know?
Yeah.
So it was the kind of dog mindset maybe. But I remember I go in there and my boss asked me to go and like start a new business division or go and raise funds, start a foreign entity branch there, right? Despite the pay not great, right? I feel like if I go anywhere else, right, my boss is not gonna tell me here,
Yeah.
buy yourself a plane ticket, go to Thailand, start our Thailand business.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like no one gonna trust me like that. That's why I stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but in many cases I realize this is why people quit now.
Yeah, so I think it really depends what you're looking for, right? Because like, I mean, my first job also was a startup, and like suddenly all these responsibilities, right? But I specifically wanted this because I knew I wanted to become somewhat of an entrepreneur. But there was a lot of risk. You straight away come out of like university, you don't have any money. There's no way you're gonna like take all your savings and go and start a business. So then joining a startup actually gives you the opportunity to like, I feel like we're promoting startups all.
Yes, yeah.
But like I felt like at that point of time, joining a startup will give me the opportunity to take on so many of these roles, wear so many hats, while actually being paid to do it, and being paid to take risks, being paid to suddenly try and do stuff lah. Like,
And then the worst come to worst, you quit your not so high paying job.
yeah. But it was damn fun to like every day just, I have to figure this out now because the business wants to actually try doing this. Okay, let's go and like, let's figure it out and like try something new. But not everyone is up for that, and that's completely fine.
And it also feels like, maybe I'm ranting, right? It also feels like sometimes when you feel like someone has a sense of entitlement, you keep it to yourself. Because it's not right to feel like someone else is entitled now. Because it just feels like you're invalidating their feelings.
Wow.
You know?
Feelings are such a thing now.
Or validation.
No, back then it's like, you got feelings, go home. You
No,
know?
because anyone can be cancelled now, you know. Like, social media has given power to too many people.
Yeah, so I came across like this blog by this author called Scott Young.
Oh.
That he basically explains how to decide whether or not to give up on something. Because
Right.
yeah, there are tons of
Not
moments.
necessarily a job lah.
Yes.
In life.
Not necessarily, yeah, but in
Okay,
life.
okay.
Give up.
But I think it can like pertain to a job also lah. So
Okay.
Habit of
like
friends.
number one is, do you obviously have a better opportunity? Because decisions aren't made in isolation. You're giving
Correct.
up one thing for the other. There is a trade-off. So
Opportunity
like
cost.
if you're a student or what, it might make most sense for you to stay in school. But for someone else who is already like wanting to start a company or what, like okay, extreme examples like Bill Gates, right? Starting Microsoft was way higher than like staying in school, ma. Yeah. So then they talk about like, is there a better opportunity, even if it might not be the easier route?
But isn't there always a better opportunity?
Yeah, lor.
You think?
What is the best opportunity?
Not always though.
It
There-
just depends on what you value at that time.
yeah, because there are people who don't realize that maybe where they are right now is the best that they can do already.
Oof.
You made it sadder. What is the matter?
Sorry.
I thought you were trying to turn it around. What the fuck?
What do I do at that point?
You just gotta get real, you know. This is life.
I think today also, like, in modern society, right? Like what we talked about earlier, grass is greener, right? And it's everywhere because of social media. So you keep seeing opportunities, which means that you perceive greater opportunity cost when it comes to making certain choices, versus last time back in the day where these are the only few things you know. At most the opportunity cost is I don't do the other thing, but now it's like if I choose this, I'm going to lose out on these 20 other opportunities instead. So maybe that weighs heavier on the people of today. On the people of today.
More in today's modern context, I'm like, what the words, man.
Yeah. Then number 2 is this guy says that I will predefine my commitment before starting. So instead of like when you start and then you decide like, oh shit, I feel like I want to quit. Instead of that, right, he gives himself that timeline. So like, let me do this for a year and then I will decide whether I want to quit at that point. So then throughout, right, then you will know whether or not you are quitting based on a whim or you are really like sticking it through.
Or use a probation period.
3 months.
But that's like relationship advice. If you want to break up with somebody, wait a year.
What?
Target. Yeah. Let's just get together for 6 months first. Then we decide.
We are on probation.
And then number 3, which I think might be a bit fluffy, would your future self feel regret or relief? He does acknowledge
that's not fluffy.
He acknowledges how to
I think like that now.
But how you know like your future self, whether you're gonna regret or not?
Because so for example, right now, like there are certain decisions that we have to make as a company. We know the huge recession is looming. We know that I am trying to drastically scale the company also, and at what cost, right? And because cost of inflation is high, and because FANGs all retrench, there are also many companies that are trying to hire, which means talent is getting way more expensive. So I will ask myself, if this company closes down 3 years from now, what did I wish I do today? Do I want to hoard resources? Or do I want to go out with a bang? Or build something that was like beloved by at least a few, then show the world that the market couldn't sustain this growth? Or would I rather like bleed into nothingness?
Wow.
Because
every single point ends in such a sad
no, you know that business is really very scary. I don't know how to tell you. When you are responsible for the livelihoods of, and not just the current livelihood, for the growth of other people, right? At first, we were just a few people just trying to, whatever we did for a previous company, we kind of have the basic asset script together. We can make, we take money ourselves, don't give to our boss, right? Then you tell yourself, one day when I become a boss, I will distribute. We won't fucking hoard the money. Then okay, you tell yourself. Then that helps you sleep better at night, right? Then after that, you hire someone, then the talent gets better and better and better until I get someone like you, so young, and then you tell me, hey John, what is my progression if I work here? Then I'm like, that's the head of content strategies. You report directly to him already. Wait for him to quit or die, man.
Well, the other day, John had this realization that he's been doing content for like 10 years, right? Yeah. And then I'm like, oh my god, like we are like 1/5.
Then when John asked me what is his progression, then I'm like, I will have to step down, lor. Right? Or you take over GM, or you take over as the CEO of the company. No, I do that. Like, okay, then I cannot grow until I out of job, right? Yeah. So the company needs to go higher. We need to build again, build and go so big. Then now, payroll used to be grand, guys. I don't want to say our payroll now. But payroll's insane now, right? And then there's like a lot of the things you think about, and there are things that you don't need to think about your first 2 years into the business. You want to break even, you want to be profitable, you want to make sure people are paid well, you want to give them bonus.
Right.
Yeah. Then progression. It's such a future question. Then I say progression, it really depends, What's your outlook here? Do you feel like working here in the next 20 years? Do you want to raise your family and see your grandchildren in this company? Then there are some people in this company that told me yes. Right? It's like, fuck, how? I barely afforded my car.
Hi, man. I'm quite sure it was probably meant.
Right? So he's like, okay, no, let me make sure this person can buy a car. Right? It's like, wow, tough It's like a forever thing. Then with today's current climate of hiring, it's the worst part of the job that is the most important part of the job.
Is this a time to give our hiring shout out?
Hey, yes, man.
We're hiring.
We are. I'm trying to hire for many positions. We're looking for content strategists, sales and accounts team, so account executive, account manager, account.
We have we have a consolidated
manager
list of all the jobs that we're hiring for. The link is in the
because we are
description below.
professionals.
Yeah,
production crew as well.
sometimes, right, when there are too many opportunities laid out in front of you, then you experience a form of paralysis where you don't know which to embark on and what to sacrifice, right?
Gem.
And I'm just wondering if you all have ever been in that position, and then how do you decide how to overcome it?
I go through that every day. I mean, every meal.
Then you order all.
Yeah, so what can we learn from that? Huh?
I grab order every.
Just pick and choose because there's another day to choose another one. No? So just try the job, don't like it, then try another one. No?
That's actually the best answer you can possibly give in life.
So in Korea, you think it's the same?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think you have to really consider the climate of the market and the industry that you're in. So actually, to answer your question, is it okay to keep quitting your job every 2 months? It really depends on the industry and the climate. Because if it's very, very healthy, not
Every 2 months, probably not.
Then my
that's a
resume
huge
is
red
just
flag,
gap year.
maybe not 2 months, but like less than a year, right? Because if your industry is like, say, finance trader or whatever, and the turnover rate is so high already, and if it's like a bull market, they're probably going to be hiring very aggressively. So it doesn't matter whether or not you are there and you leave after 2 months, because they are hiring you to see whether you're okay or not, and then they will fire you during probation anyway. So hiring is so aggressive there. But if it's recession and then your industry that's very slow moving, then probably not long. So it really depends.
If it happens too many times, then you are the problem.
Oh,
because
for sure.
you are the one that can't find a good fit, or what's wrong with your evaluation process that you keep finding jobs that you are not happy in.
Yeah, but there are some industries where really the only way to progress is to jump ship. Like in like advertising agency industry, for example. In order for you to really go up one rank as soon as possible, is that after 1 year you need to go to a different agency.
Yeah, which I'm also very confused about, and I mean I've never had to make this decision or tell people about this or decide for somebody, right? But if say you are an employee and jumping ship will pay you much better, but you don't really want to, you do want to stay in your existing company, then if you say like companies also want to retain talent, right? Not easy to acquire talent, right? Then how come? Why is it that internal progression of salaries or whatever, right, cannot fight that move?
I think it's because when you are deciding to stay, right, you're already deciding that money is not as high up on your priority list. Does that make sense?
Because it's potential energy, really. Like right now, for example, we have, let's say, you think of a random colleague in the office, right? And then that person is now asking me for a 1K pay bump. Then you ask yourself, is there someone that you think that I should say no to? Okay, let's say it's that person. Okay? So I said no, that person leaves. Now we need to hire. You also can't join because you work with that person. Right? You need me to replace this person as soon as possible. But this new person is previous person plus 1K. Yeah, like hire first lor. The experience looks good lah. They work at so-and-so media company or so-and-so advertising company. Okay lor. Full of potential energy ma. We don't know it could be fucking good. Then we hire.
So that means every time, right, it's almost like the levy you are paying for a gamble, right?
Yeah.
But really, then why not just bump that 1K on the previous person if that person is good enough?
Because you already know what they're capable of. So if they're already deserving of a pay raise, you would have given them that pay raise. And if they're not, then it is the hope that someone new is going to be better than that lor.
And I'm sure everybody start out their starting pay with us. Happy with their starting pay with us lah. Because right, you know why you join us, right? Like you must be acceptable to you lah, to a certain extent, right? And our raises are beyond 4 to 6%. The worst year we've done was 6%. Then we usually go 7%. But yet now you'll see around and talk about, are we a very high paying company? No. We've already beat the industry average by quite a few percentage points already. But not enough. You know, so at the end of the day, it's not about 1%, ma. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
if you can get poached for, if you can get poached for 50% more than what this company pays you, right? I will know that. As in, I am keenly aware that a lot of people in this company are very, very sought after. But it also means that we need to retain everybody in this company. Yeah. Which is not 6%. It's 15% across the board.
So then why is it that that external company, like say we already know this individual's employees' value is this, right? Then how come another company would pay that 1,000 more for that person?
Because they're not doing it for every single person in that company though. They're doing it for that one person or that one person.
The same reason you will agree if we really need to make the hire already, right?
Yeah.
Can we just pay that person X plus 1.5K? The same salary that you told me don't give it to this guy.
Yeah.
He's not worth it.
It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know.
And I think it might also be in a sense like a form of like a release clause, especially in the case of poaching lah, specifically.
So that's why like it's very interesting how pay raises, the standard is about 4 to 6%, right? But when you actually jump ship, the standard is usually 20% of your last drawn. And that's the norm.
Interesting, yeah.
But you can think about it. Is it sustainable to give everybody a 20% pay raise? When a person hit 5k is 1k already, 6k is 1.2k already.
You do that across the board. It's crazy.
Plus bonus. Plus CPF.
Which is no longer bonus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so okay.
Give up,
if
The end of this, give up.
or it might be relief. Yeah, but so point 3, like, that will your future self feel regret or relief? The author does admit that it is a hard question, but essentially what he's going at is that he's trying to get you to not be overly attached to your current plans and like give up another thing just for fear of the unknown. Yeah.
There's a danger to this also, where like today, right, like at least in our industry, we see a lot of people diversifying and then like having like multiple streams of income and trying to explore as many things as possible, have a lot on their plate. But there was this study that I can't remember where I saw it about how if you just focused on one thing, that the exponential growth of that individual endeavor will actually garner you much greater results than if you
Depends
were
on where
to
you are,
diversify.
I guess. I think really there are a lot of good people that go unrecognized.
The last point on this article says, do you really need to give up, or is it just about taking a break?
Give up.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times, I think your case is you just need to take a break, because like, I mean now there's like burnout, which is like a buzzword, right? And also like
Very long never hear this word actually, huh? You've fallen out of it.
because everyone
back in the menu.
Now it's back.
Yeah, but it's basically like, do you just need to get back to a more neutral mindset? In order to re-examine your feelings. I think maybe something quite interesting that I recently encountered also is that like your side hustle need not deviate a lot from your main hustle. So it could like build on, and then you're just garnering like things that will help you overall like lift up your career in that same path lah. So recently I also got another offer to go and build some form of like content strategy, but it's for like a B2B company, and they were offering, as in the pay is like a significant increase also. But at the moment, because like the person that was asking me did ask like, are you looking for a new job? Then I mean I just told her like honestly no lah, because I'm happy where I'm at. And then like there is like I'm excited about the new series that we are going to do also, which we will put casting call down below.
Is it series?
Yeah.
We have casting call, we'll put in the description below so you can fill that up. Yeah, so I'm excited about that, and then I don't have much complaints about where I am at. And yeah, I think overall it just feels like I'm walking away from a lot. Like it's not that there is not more to
Like appraisal.
gain. Yeah. So then I actually asked them like, is it possible to do a part-time thing? So like I don't do so I'm not quitting my company or what lah, but like maybe like on weekends I can like check in with you guys or whatever lah.
Consult lah.
Yeah,
No.
somewhat consult, but then manage the interns a bit more.
Got you.
Yeah. So then after that, I actually went to John about it, because I asked him. I mean, on one hand, I didn't need to tell him about it if it's a weekend thing, because like he probably wouldn't know also if I never say no, just some income lah. But then I just thought.
Which is what I told her actually.
Yeah. But then I just thought that.
Actually, on one hand though, you kind of do, because in the employment contract you're not supposed to seek other employment.
Yes.
But within this company, we encourage like side hustles, right? But so I thought it was a good time to talk about the opportunity cost for an employer
To allow that.
Yeah, to allow that, right? Which is clearly number one, you're exposed to another culture which you are doing on a. Okay, just for the record, I never say no, okay?
Yeah.
I just told her my thoughts on it, but she can decide, right? So some of it is that your side hustles are usually more pleasurable to you, because it's something that does not feel like your normal routine, and it's something you do on the weekend, and then you probably get paid sooner. Probably your per hour rate is higher, because it's part-time. You are grappling with the grass is greener, and you get to step on that grass to pretty green, right? And then the other one is the tiredness of it, because one thing that matters a lot to me is that you have to look at your life and your work-life balance in totality. There will be tough days, there will be good days, but we gotta look at things in a totality. You cannot just look at your salary, you gotta look at are there incentives, are there bonuses, are there flexibility, right? And I feel like many times people cannot. Like people feel like, okay, I'm poor now, it must be because my employer pays me shit. But do you save, do you invest? Like we look at things in a totality. If not, then there will never ever be enough for you, right? And as much as I value you, do I want to pay 3k above market for someone at your experience grade? Like, I want to, but how? Then, not like I pay you this, we are good for 5 years. No, ma. Next year, you're going to ask another one. Next year, you're going to ask another one. Next year, you're going to ask another one. Hopefully, you are 1 year apart. Sometimes it's every 3 months, right? Then, how do you balance that? I really value you, but how? Do we have a few $1,000s in the bank to give you? Have. Are you that easy to replace? No, we really love you. You are damn good. You know, but to what end? Yeah, it's something I think about. And the fact that sometimes people work through their weekends and then they come to work tired and then no juice, especially in creative roles. Then you got no juice, you just feel like, maybe you feel a bit constricted or whatnot. And then just feel like, wow, ever since I work here, I'm very tired. Yeah, but what time you sleep?
Yeah.
Did you rest? Did you take care of your body? Which is what I'm concerned about. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why if let's say you earn an off in lieu in gravity, is part of the reason that we say they must cash out they must spend the off in lieu within the month. Because you accumulate at the end of the year, you just feel like you're damn tired and never take any leave, you got no break, this company work like a dog. But no, is you only have accumulate your off in lieu ma. So are some of the trade-offs that employers don't get to say. I'm very privileged, I get to keep renting.
Vicariously for all the other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I think it's important to like, I guess it was kind of implied with that list also, is like, are you quitting because you just want to work? Or you're quitting because it's really a bad fit, culture doesn't work, it's not what you want to do. There's all these other factors, but it's so hard because when you're tired from the work or you hate your boss, you can't see, it's not clear. It's very good to just sit down, reflect and go, okay,
you know, but maybe from their perspective, right, is that you're afraid to think that maybe I don't like, I just not cut out for working.
Yeah.
But no way, maybe your job sucks.
Yeah.
Because maybe right.
Or like one point in time, I think there was a point on one of my internships, which in the end of the day, I actually really, really enjoyed it. But I remember very early on where I thought, am I just really bad at it? Because I was attached to a manager that was just really like rude or demanding of me and
But
felt
she
like
expects highly of you lah.
yeah, and I didn't see that. I just thought, what the fuck? Am I just really bad at this or what? I just felt it's just not for me lah. You know, like I'm not cut out for this. I need something else. And then you just have to slog through that and realize, she was Mr. Miyagiing me. You know, it was training. And then
By then, are you still with her?
no lah. But by then,
not so Miyagi though.
but there was things that I got out of that made me good at that job for the duration of my internship after that.
right.
And sometimes you just gotta have clarity. It's so hard when you're really stressed to like see the forest through the trees.
And therefore, you just need to take a break.
Yeah.
I guess if you're deciding on giving up, right? Like, I think there are proper ways to manage. Or maybe if you find it difficult, especially at the start of a job, right? Evaluate why it's difficult. If it's because it's challenging you in areas that you've never been challenged before, but not in a toxic way, then maybe try to push a bit more and then see what you get out of it. Versus
growth,
just
right?
like the fucking I'm gonna feed into my feelings and just give the up. Like that one no go. You will never survive anywhere.
I should say a lot of people sometimes want growth, but then when the challenge comes for them to grow, right, don't want to take on the
They
challenge.
want the benefits of growth.
Yeah.
But that said, also I think different people have different motivations, and then maybe it's just a matter of finding it for yourself lah. But it will take hard work either way. One there will be difficulties, yeah, and you must be able to push through lor. Like, yeah, there's no fluffy dream job out there that doesn't have struggle one lah. Yeah.
You might find a job like that, then you'll say it doesn't challenge you. Then that's the struggle.
Ironic.
Well, the grass is not green on any side, man.
Yes, there's no grass, we're all walking on fires.
The grass is greener where you water it.
This is Justin
Hey, you didn't
Bieber
come out
song.
this shit, right? I feel like
No.
I've heard this
Someone told me
before.
somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's another actor. He quoted some celebrity.
Yeah.
Like the Joker guy.
The biologist from Harry Potter.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed it and you enjoy our other episodes, like, share, and subscribe.
If you are looking for a job, please, we're hiring.
If you're looking for something fun to do, casting call down below.
Casting couch.
We will call you if we cast you.
You can do both, so you can apply for a job and casting call.
I'll make your hotline bling. Okay, bye.
I can make your hotline bling.
Hey.
Glimpse of us.